What's up, YouTube? Welcome back to the Pop Culture Universe. I'll be one of your hosts on this episode. My name is Bogz. To my right, my girl Sol. How you doing today, Sol?
Doing good and still proud of you for learning which way to
Yes,
actually point
I
to.
got it now. I got it now. I do have to split it down, thinking it's right, but it's like but it's that way. Yes, this is another episode review of the Bad Batch. This is episode 13 of the series that drops on Disney Plus. This episode is called Infested. Straight up off the top, this is going to be a shorter episode. Not much happens in it, I'm going to be honest. So, quick summary for me. I actually thought not only the term filler, okay, I didn't mind filler episodes because you're in the Star Wars world, you get loads of context and Easter eggs, and you learn more. We've already had filler episodes this month. This series, of course. This was obviously a filler episode. By far, my least favorite episode of the series. Nothing much happened in it at all, and it really slowed the story down. And I actually think it was a bad episode. I'm going to be honest. So yeah, it was a struggle to get through. I was on my phone a lot of it, like kept picking up my phone as in yeah, a bit of a rough watch, unfortunately. But what about you? So overall thoughts on the episode?
Yeah, this is the first disappointing episode of the Bad Batch for this series, which they've had what we deemed filler episodes before, but we still very much enjoyed them. And
Hmm.
filler episodes, unfortunately, has a negative connotation to it.
Hmm.
But to me, I don't consider like filler to be bad. It's just like, oh, it's not moving the story forward in the way as the other stories, but you're still getting like fun adventures. It's like going on a side quest in a video game. Whereas
Yeah,
this,
pretty.
yeah, go ahead.
Sorry, go ahead.
Well, I was like, this episode was kind of eh. There's not much going on. I still have a question on why they're still working with Sid, even though Omega already paid off their debt. So like that hasn't been answered yet. And it was one of like, oh, this is one of the last four episodes of this season, and we're just gonna go off and do this thing that really has no prominence for the rest of this story going forward.
Yeah, so I'll start off with something that I did like in the episode. I did like seeing the Pike Syndicate back because obviously they do appear in season 7 of the Clone Wars. Do have a story arc in the first few episodes with the Martez sisters and Ahsoka, and them returning, knowing that they transport spice, and refine it illegally and that kind of thing. And doing so, they enslave other species and Wookiees in particular. They do it on a few different planets, Naboo, I believe Ryloth and Kessel as well. So just seeing that, I think having them involved. And at one point, I remember that Maul has had previous dealings with the Pike Syndicate as well. So he's had some kind of underground connections with them. So just seeing these, I thought maybe this a bit of a long shot to see. We're going to see more because we don't know where he is after the end of Clone Wars season 7. The point of Revenge of the Sith, he kind of goes off,
Yeah.
kind of leaves Ahsoka and Rex and them, and then we don't know him until probably Solo kind of thing. So
Yeah.
so for the next 10 years or so, we don't really know. Next 9 years or so, we don't really know where he is or what he's been doing. So yeah, definitely. I thought it was maybe a potential of that, but that was kind of the biggest positive. But going back on what you're saying there is Sid returning. I mean, I thought we were long done with that. She's she's a okay character, I guess, but really, who cares? Like, she's not important. She's not going to have any, kind of bigger dealings in the saga or anything. So let's move on. We've got way more important things to talk about and do, and have conclusions and tie-ups and things like that. So, what about you? Did you have anything that you did like about the episode?
I think just I always enjoy Omega because I just love how pure of heart she is, and the rest of the Bad Batch, especially Hunter, was just like, oh yeah, well Sid's been captured, or Sid, like something bad has happened to her. Her bar's been taken over. Who cares? Let's just keep going on. Let's leave the planet. And Omega's like, no, we need to go and protect her. And so like you see how good of a heart Omega has, and like how she just wants to do good into the world. So I always enjoy seeing that aspect. It's she's been very consistent throughout each episode. So I think just I was trying to find like little parts here, like okay, Omega, that was good with this episode, but it was very much a bleh episode.
Yeah, so I really wanted to carry on from the last episode where Crosshair kind of is assigned to take out the Bad Batch and hunt them down. I thought we'd get some kind of forward steps about that, being that there's only 4 episodes left, and does he get killed? Does he get captured? Does he kind of revert back to his previous kind of mindset? Or we need a kind of conclusions or resolutions or updates on that. Really, instead, it was just a random sideways
another Crosshair
mission
episode.
Yes, and of course, obviously, I want to see more of the transition from the Republic to the Empire. Obviously, we do get kind of sprinklings of it every episode, or in terms of the transporter tags and all that kind of stuff. So just seeing more of that, seeing citizens against imperial dictatorship and things, that's all super interesting. So for me, but we almost got none of that this episode. So unfortunately, there isn't much to discuss. I mean, for me, the main interest were the Pikes returning and a potential more return. That's a bit of a long shot, but that was it really. I mean, there's nothing else that happened of note. They're still on the Sid. She's still popping up in every episode. Not sure why exactly. I guess we do apologize. It's not a full review of the episode, but not a lot happened at all. Very dull and uninteresting episode, I'll be honest. So, but yeah, anything kind of moving forward, so are you thinking, or what you want to see? There's only 3 episodes left, right? So there's a lot to cover. Hopefully no more of these fillers, right?
Yeah, and it's kind of sad to get like an episode like this, because you and I have been loving each episode. Obviously, like there's some episodes we've loved more than others, but we've enjoyed each episode throughout this entire series. And to kind of have a later episode of the series be this dull, it's kind of sad. Like afterwards, I watch it on my phone at work, and typically I'll watch it on my phone, then I'll come home and I'll watch it like on my TV. And I was like, I don't need to rewatch this episode. I got enough of it what was on my phone. And it very much was just like, okay, this is what it is. I hope that the next 3 episodes we move this story along. I don't know if we're going to get a second season. If not, we have a lot to wrap up in these next 3 episodes. We need to find out why Omega is so important. We need to find out whether or not, is it Hauser? Like what's going on with him and his chip. There's so many like questions and so like
Kaminoans and all them.
Kaminoans, like there's so many important things that we could go towards, and these are only 22-minute episodes. And so to focus like a full 22 minutes in the last 4 episodes to a nothing story kind of was a little disappointing.
It was, yeah. And you're right, I look forward to this all week. It's the Star Wars kind of fix, the main fix that we get all week, in terms of new programs or new, episodes and stuff. And it was just a complete miss, and it was so dull. Like, you don't need to watch this really, this episode. You can just go from the last episode to the next episode. It was a very strange story choice, but we see this has been done before, Clone Wars and Rebels, and then normally comes a good story arc. Filoni kind of slows the pace down and then brings it back up again. So hopefully we get a lot more intriguing episode with a lot more story developments, because as we said, there's a lot to cover. But 3 more episodes left of the Bad Batch that drops on Disney Plus. We'll be here to review it, of course. A bit of a miss this episode, unfortunately. So I guess we're going to give it a ranking, maybe a 5, maybe even less. So, but yeah, any ranks you want to give it? So,
yeah, ratings? I was thinking a 5 out of 10 as well.
Yeah, even that's probably a bit generous. I might give it a 4. So, was very bored watching this, I'll be honest. But anyway, like I said, super excited for the next episodes to come. A lot to deal with and tie up. But that's it. That's been your episode review. Definitely a shorter one this week. But next week we shall be reviewing episode 14, no doubt about it. And we'll see you all on the next review.